Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I am finally here with my August planner flip through. So this is my favorite video to record every single month. I just love functional planning. I love to be able to use multiple planners, and I like to be able to flip through everything to show you in real life how I use my planners. I always have a plan for how things end up going, but this is my chance to show you what it actually looks like after the pen. And so we're going to flip through several different planners. You can see here I've got at the very bottom here a Frankenplanner with multiple sections, and then I have 3 smaller planners. And for the month of August, I basically went small. So you can see here that the biggest is going to be this mini. I do have, just spoiler, a couple of classic size pages down there, but I'm gonna flip through all of this and just show you everything that I was doing in August. So before I get into flipping through these planners, I will mention that in August I decided to do an experiment where I was going small. So the biggest technically is classic, but I had the plan to use mini size or smaller, and I also wanted to experiment with using some non-happy planner items. And so you'll see, at least right here, these 2 non-happy planner items, and then this one, even though it's happy planner cover and discs, it's actually a non-happy planner and some like just Dollar Tree like notes. So again, you'll see all of that, and here I do have happy planner though. So that's just kind of like a mix of everything. I was just trying to use up my stash. The second caveat before we get into it is this is my functional planner, so I'll flip through all of the things that I did for personal, work, and social media, and several different combinations of those 3 categories of my life. So it's all the things that I do in terms of planning for work, life, and play. But I also do not, I also have a couple of planners that I don't flip through in this video. Those will be namely my memory books for my 2 girls, as well as my home reference binder system. So those are my long-term notes, and the memory books are for memory keeping for my girls. I don't flip through those just because for me those serve separate purposes. And so again, this is mostly just my functional planning where I take the notes, keep track of tasks, events, all of those things. Okay, so long intro, but let's go ahead and get into it. I'm just going to start from the top and go down. So let me shift everything over to the side and zoom in a little bit. This is mini, so I can see all these things. This is actually set up right now as a micro. This cover is from like a micro everyday, I can't remember, it's like a keepsake planner, but it's a micro size essentially. I did put it on classic size discs because it was much thicker, but I've been taking pages out of it as I've used it. But in August I was using this as my expense tracker, and it has gone through several different iterations. Before August, in July, I think it was like my actual like planner, you know, so I change it every single month. But for August, it was my expense tracker, and so I'll show you what that looks like. It opens up and immediately goes into some notes, and what I do is basically put the date, put the location and the dollar amount, and if I need to, I'll put the category that the expense comes from. And that's pretty much it. So this is pretty much pen to paper with the notes, as you can see here. And in fact, for all of August, it's all pen to paper. All right, so right here is like the 8th, and I just write as I need to, and then I skip this page and go into the 9th. All right, and then here's a full week. I did add a couple of stickers here, but it's mostly just pen to paper. All right, and again, I just make note of the date. If it has it, of course, I'll just leave it like that, but I'll put where the expense came from and what the dollar amount was. I also put like budget notes to myself, so like right here, I scanned some receipts into Fetch. Right, and then this was the end of August, so clearly this is September, right? Because that was the end of August, I went into using some more like notes pages just to keep track of some other things. I was doing some actual budgeting on these tiny pages, like random sheet right here where I was writing some more notes, but mostly it's going to be the budget breakdown. And then I have the remainder of 2024 in here already punched and ready to go. Don't have a purpose for it in September. And so one thing I do like to mention is when I switch from one planner to another, like for example, August was this micro planner with a mix of different things, but mostly this kind of like weekly page. But for September, for my budgeting, I'm moving into a classic size. When I switch sizes like that, I basically wrap up in August, and I don't worry about like kind of trying to do anything with the September page. So I'll just end it right on August and then just skip any September references. And I'll just switch over completely to the other system and start with September 1. All right, so that is my budget. this will be, I think, a fairly straightforward flip through for most of these because they're mostly weekly pages. Right, so this is the actual book, right? So these budget pages right here came from a book that looks like this, and I actually have two of these, right? One that I converted to discount, as you saw with the expense tracker, and one I kept kind of intact-ish, right? I did go through and pull out the first couple of signatures. So for quarter one and quarter two, I did pull it apart. As you can see here, it was kind of falling apart anyway. But I have basically the last couple of months, like basically quarter four, September, well, actually October, November, and December, still in here. The rest of the pages have kind of fallen out, but I wanted to at least show you what it looks like. But I, again, was using this for August. And just like I mentioned with the expense tracker, when I am using it for just one single month, the month before and the month after, I will just kind of ignore it. I'll just use it just for that single month of August, right? So these are, you can see here, July pages. And underneath here, I basically taped on top of the weekly page a list of notes to myself for like different videos that I wanted to record. And so that is directly attached, like just glued down to the July pages, but I didn't use the July pages. I did, however, use the August pages. So this is what it looks like. And for social media, I decided to go with super decorative and just keep track of my YouTube videos and any Instagram posts that I made. I don't think I posted on Instagram at all in August, but here are just some notes for like the different videos that I had already uploaded to YouTube. And then I start scheduling them and putting like in the boxes like where I scheduled things. And then I do have on the side, like outside of the boxes, like any notes related to social media or planning. So like I went on the planner hunt at Big Lots, and then I did some work in my budget planners, and then did some filming. So just like random notes, right? It is a very small size. And so I did decorate, as you can see here, have all my notes for YouTube and like where things are edited and uploaded, all of that type of stuff. But when I run out of room, I will just kind of like right here, this is the 16th. All of these notes are for the 16th. Okay, I just crossed out the 17th here. And so then the 17th and the 18th, these 2 days, ended up getting moved to this sheet of paper. And so again, I'm just taking notes, film, edit, upload, and just taking notes like that. Same thing here. I put a different type of note, but this is upload, edit, publish, edit, you know, so on and so forth. And I just kind of mark when I do them in order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just the order that I did them. Right, but that is the 17th and Sunday the 18th. And I kind of just taped it in and folded it over so that way it belongs in the week. And then here is the 19th. I did try to like squeeze everything in here. It got really tight on this side, especially with how heavy I decorated this side, but I just kind of put all the stickers and then just took my notes for what I did in terms of YouTube, Instagram, planning related activities, right? And then this is the last week of August. Again, it's just mostly notes. You can see it gets messy. I don't mind that at all. It's just my notes. It's my planning to myself. And so I do like it to be functional. Even though I have stickers on here, it's mostly functional. It's for me to keep track of if videos are getting posted on time. And so I just want to have that record, right? And so here's just another example, right here. I crossed out the 30th and 31st. These were all kind of notes from the 28th. This was the 28th. This was actually the 29th and 30th and 31st, the videos that I had planned to publish. And so that was all basically set on the 28th. This is 28th, this is 28th, this is 28th, right? This was also the 28th, but then all of these videos, you can see I basically scheduled it for the 31st, scheduled it for the 30th, but I changed my mind. And so the notes for the 29th and the 30th ended up on just a sticky note that I stuck to the back. And again, because I'm switching in September to a completely different planner, I just don't worry about trying to use these pages in any way. It's just going to be a blank page. And so that's how I end up a lot of times with like one page, like one side of a page being used and the other side is empty. It's just because it's kind of like the beginning or the end of a month, or I just skip a week. That happens a lot too. But these are my notes from the 29th and the 30th, and I apparently didn't do anything on the 31st. Probably, I think I was traveling. And so that is what social media looked like. And I did the same thing for this one and this one. These two I did as an experiment for August, so they are the only month that I use for both of these, like for expense and for social media. And so they will eventually be moved to my archive, but yeah, I just use that single month. Right now I get to zoom out just a tiny bit. So for this next planner, this is a Bloom daily planner, and this planner is what I use for work. It actually was really good. I enjoyed it. I had to take a lot of notes. You'll see this as we get into it. I ended up at some point cutting off the August tab, so I don't have an August tab, but I promise this is August, right? So the Bloom Daily Planner, this is something I got from Go Wild, and it's a horizontal planner. I do use it just to basically track my events, like my meetings, and any like for August at least, any like kind of smaller like notes I receive, like either something my boss asked me to do or like an email that like required some kind of action from me. I've kind of noted that in like a different color. So here it's blue, but on other pages you'll see it's either red or green. And just like what I've mentioned with the other planners, this was only for August. And so here, this is July 29th, 30th, and 31st. I put some notes here, but I'm not actually doing any real note taking in July. I only start with August. And so what I did for August is, starting in August, I had my meetings in black, and then in a different color, took any notes, again, like things that I needed action on, like my tasks, essentially. And then I would put somewhere in the area of the day how many hours I worked that day. So here I worked 3 hours. This Friday I only worked 15. Wow, that is a very short number, or small number. And here on Saturday I worked 3.5 hours, right? And so that's just kind of how it looks. And I did decorate these pages in advance, and so for some cases, like I do know my schedule for like recurring meetings. Like I normally have meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but student meetings, they kind of pop up and disappear and get canceled, rescheduled, that type of thing. So I do go in and kind of keep in mind that Tuesdays and Thursdays are my pretty heavy meeting days. I don't want to block up those days. And then I just, of course, try not to work Saturdays and Sundays, and then I can just decorate everywhere else. So I was trying to be aware of the things that I needed to do, but this is what it looks like. And then when I need more space, I just put it on a post-it note and call it a day, right? And so this is what this week looked like. Again, planned this in advance, really didn't have anything to write in there, but I did have more notes, right? And so these are the notes from a meeting, and I really should keep those in a meeting notation system of some sort, but I don't have anything like that. I just use my planner for all meeting notes, right? This week I was able to contain all within the planner pages, which is cool, right? And then here, let me get this one off at least. This one, there's actually nothing underneath it. I can definitely tape those down, but this is kind of what it looks like for this last week. And then I have some extra notes here that I put on a post-it note, right? And again, I'm using it only for August, and so September I just kind of covered up. I already kind of knew that I wasn't going to go into September, so you can see here September is pretty much blank, right? And so these first 3 planners, actually all of my planners, now that I've flipped through it, I will break down and kind of move into its like actual like the planner, like the main planner that is used to like archive my old past planners as well as my current and future pages. I actually just recorded a video related to how I do my archiving, so I'll link that in the description if you're interested in that. Okay, so this is actually the last little bit. I have a stack of like coloring pages here as well. I'll kind of pull that in towards the middle here, but in here is like basically a setup for some mini happy planner pages as well as some non-happy planner stuff. And so it is a Frankenplanner with multiple different sections. I decided in August that I was just going to ignore the names on the tabs and just kind of use the sections as I needed to. I've got a bunch of like just leftover random pieces, bits and bobs before the divider that I just didn't use. Okay, so those are all just unused. I also have this pocket with like a bunch of randomness. I'm not like a decorative like put the pockets and make them pretty kind of person, right? So this first section, I've got some like random notes here for July actually, but what I had in this was actually a monthly, and so this is what August looked like. It actually looks really cute filled out. Again, I decorated most of these pages in advance and then just added boxes as I needed them. It turned out really cute. I need to put one note right here because we did end up deciding on the 30th to take a trip for Labor Day, and so I need another box and just like a designation that we were traveling. And do you see this piece of washi right here? Or like it's a sticker, but like I use this to denote, like for example, I was at a conference and it was for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I just used the piece of washi and then put the tape, put the box on top of that piece of tape. And that's how I kind of note a multiple day event. All right, so that is that. One of the things that I used here, you can see, is like a mini vertical. And so I just undated it across the top and then just renumbered it. And so this is the first 3 weeks. And then this is the second half, or like the last 2 weeks of August. And that's pretty much it. That's all I've got in that section for August. Going here, the second tab, it says weekly, but this is my faith section. Again, I just ignored the name. Only the first one actually matched up. Right, so here I had all of my faith notes. Right, this one is something Sophia did. Super cute, actually. It was on the 11th. And to make it fit in here, I folded it in quarters. Oh my gosh, I probably should not have folded this one already. It was clearly still like sticky. I'll have to take that little bit off. All right, but this is like a full like letter size, and this was Sophia's cousin, Malia, and I just folded it in quarters to get it to fit in here. Right, here's another page. Right, this one was Sophia's. All right, she did a nice job. I like that. Okay. But again, it's just my notes for faith. I was using a mini horizontal, and you can see here just crossed out the dates. Right, I'll just blur it out. I was like taking all these notes. We're starting a series. We actually started it mid-August, and we're going through the major biblical covenants, and just talking about like what they are and like what are some of the key features of each of the covenants. And so I was taking lots of notes because this day, the 11th, was the introduction to that. And so there you can see here like some of the major biblical covenants, and the one that you can't see here is, or at the very bottom, is like the new covenant, which is of course the covenant that was established by Jesus, right? And so again, I'm just taking notes because, you know, I thought it was a really good introduction to the entire series. We're going to be here for a few weeks. I've actually ended up missing 2 Sundays. I have to talk to my pastor about getting his like recordings for the past couple of Sundays, just because I've been out of town. But yeah, so those are my notes there. Right, and then right here it's just basically empty because for a couple of Sundays, you saw like it's basically letter size. I just folded it up, right? So we ended up with I decided to kind of carry some additional notes, and it belongs right here. So this one is a Proverbs that Sophia covered, like a Proverbs coloring sheet that she colored, right? And then here is the 18th of August, and these are my notes about Noah's covenant, Noahic covenant, and it talks about like, just like it says right here, it's the covenant that was God's plan for the planet, like his plan for the end time, essentially. And so these are my notes for that. It's on the back of, or like the front of a coloring page, right? And then this is the summary from actually last week, from the 11th, right? And so it was just all of the notes that I had already taken for myself, you know, but that's just a good reference for that. This is some coloring that Rose did. Look at her coloring. It's getting really, really, really good. All right. This was something that Sophia, I think, had made. I'm not sure if it was Sophia or Rose, one of them. I don't keep these things long term. I just kind of have them in here to do the flip through, and then I just go through. When I go to archive, I start throwing things away, and then once my archive gets full, I start throwing things away even more, right? So it goes through several phases of kind of like purging, right? These, I'm pretty sure this was Sophia's, yes. So Sophia's, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, okay, so this is, you know, the rainbow coat, the multicolored coat, like she was going through that, right? Right, and then this was what I colored, right? It was actually very, like, just meditative. I enjoyed doing that, right? And these are just blank ones, right? So this I can kind of put back into my stash for use in the future. I actually have just put together like a new, what do you call it? A new faith tote, like a morning basket kind of deal. And so these pages will go in there. I'll actually have my old faith notes in there too, again, as part of my archive. But yeah, it's just kind of fun to have old, current, and future used kind of items all related to faith in one area. So that's what I've got. Okay, this third section, it says notes and it's starting to fall off. This is where my pen kind of like bumps into it all the time. But this third one is labeled notes. In August, I was using it just to track family and friend notes. So just all the different text messages that I received or anything from Facebook that I saw that just caught my eye. I just put the date in parentheses and just kind of made notes for the different things that were happening in my family and friends' lives, right? And I did it until basically the 14th, and then after that I stopped, right? I very much like fell off the train here. I do still have all of my text messages, but I'm going to just not worry about converting it over here. I'm just going to just leave it, call it done here, and then just move on. Right, in this fourth section, this one is not labeled, but it's basically chores. Not really chores, it's like major or minor household projects that I've had on my back burner for a while, and it's just me taking notes and just making sure that I'm just making progress, incremental progress with like organizing my house, right? So there are chores on here, so things like laundry, vacuuming, things like that, but mostly it's going to be things related to, let me show you some examples here. So it's going to be things like here, I'm like working through organizing my planner closet. I'm going to have to do a video on my planner closet. It is a hot mess. It is so bad right now, but it's full of files and like old documents. Like for example, these type of documents that I say I'm going to throw away, but I never actually can throw it away. So they're just kind of stored in a closet that's kind of closed off and hidden. And I'm trying to clear through it to scan some of those files, throw away, purge, do those types of things. So here, same thing. I'm just going through definitely here in my planner closet, like it says right there, planner closet, organize some of those things, move things around, condense, consolidate, that kind of thing. So I definitely was doing that. You can see here, these are like the 19th. So I definitely spent like a solid week somewhere within like August 15th through the 20th. That week was like a solid, I need to get through some of this. I want to try to feel like I was successful this summer with like clearing out my master closet and kind of organizing my planner closet. Those two major closets, they're like very, very unorganized. And so I feel like I did a good job with my master closet. I'll actually insert some photos here of what it looks like at the end of August, and you know, just show you what it looks like. I thought I did a really good job. Before, there were boxes everywhere. I could not get into that closet really. I mean, I could get in to get my clothes, but it was like stepping around things, and so now I can actually walk into it, so that's really, really nice. And now I'm going to move to finishing out the master closet as I can for the rest of 2024, and then going into my planner closet and trying to declutter. It's like so many boxes of papers in there. So yeah, that's my goal. I also definitely have a goal in Q4 for trying to update my girls' memory books. I'm very behind on that project, and I'm at the point where I just want to start just adding photos into the books and putting a couple of stickers and calling it a day and skipping the journaling part of it. I just want to try to finish that out. One of the main reasons I couldn't finish was I ran out of space on my computer, and so I couldn't even access my photos. I could barely like even check email, but now I've kind of figured out a solution for that, and so now I need to get back into it. But here, like some other notes, like major, minor house projects that I'm just kind of taking notes for, and that's the end of that. Right, and again, at the end of August, I decided just to take some work in progress photos that I showed you earlier, and that's kind of where we were. All right, this fifth section, again unlabeled, is my health and wellness, basically my food log. Right, and so for August, again, this is 29th, 30th, and 31st of July. So I just kind of start with a brand new page, a brand new spread for August, and so I basically just track my food, any major health symptoms that I've got here. Right, and that's pretty much it. Pen to paper. Down here in this habits tracker section, I just track my liquid intake. It's not water, it's just coffee, sodas. I'm very bad about drinking water. And these pages, by the way, are from Jane's Agenda. I don't know if they're still available, but they are the mini Happy Planner size, and it's like a beauty or self-care log. I can't remember the name of it, but it came in a subscription box, and I've just been trying to use it. Right, and so then right here, this is the 12th, 13th, and 14th, and again, right around the 14th, just like in the family planner, just like in all my planners, really, I just kind of fell off the face of like planning, and so it's completely empty after that, but that's okay. You know, that's it. You know, I just am okay with that. And so the last couple of weeks, I didn't track my food, I didn't track any of that stuff, and that's okay. Right, and then this sixth section is completely empty. It just has like all of these like random dividers and things like that, but that's pretty much it. Now again, I flipped through this. It had my monthly, I had a faith section, it had my family section, it had a chore section, and then my food log. These are some additional faith notes that are supposed to be in that second section. I could fold it up and put it in there, honestly. Then I have my work planner. social media planner, and expense tracker. And again, this was my functional planning system for August. I did not flip through in this video my memory books for the girls. I'm behind anyway, so there's really not anything to flip through, but this was just my functional planning. And again, you can see one of the big themes is like the second half of August, I just kind of like stopped filling it out. I was very busy at work, and I was definitely filling out my work planner and my expense tracker, but everything else just ended up not getting filled out, and that's okay. You know, sometimes life just happens. You can plan, but you don't have to write it all down. If it gets done, that's all that matters, right? If you have any questions about my system, feel free to drop me a comment and just let me know. But again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel. And until the next video, bye guys.